a colossal beast rampaged through the border city. Its roar alone crumbled walls. But among the fleeing crowd, one figure walked toward it. Slowly, his long black coat swayed.
Another one? They never learn.
He raised a single hand. The air twisted, and the monster exploded into a shower of gore. As the dust settled, the hunter landed atop the corpse, his ancient sword resting on his shoulder. He was cursed to never die, a punishment meant to last forever, to watch everyone he loved perish. But 700 years of relentless training in every art imaginable had forged a being even death could not touch.
I haven't felt a genuine threat in centuries.
His shadow flickered with the ghosts of 1,000 battles, warriors he had long outlived. The curse had become irrelevant. He was unkillable, not because he couldn't die, but because after 700 years, nothing in this world could survive him. 7 centuries earlier, the name Hiroki meant nothing. He was just a B-rank hunter trying to survive.
Help me, somebody.
Not on my watch.
But fate does not forgive interference. As the demon fell, the air turned cold, and a divine presence descended.
You dare defy the threads of death? That child was meant to die.
She's just a child. What kind of death god are you?
For your arrogance, I curse you. You shall never die, but you will age slowly and watch every soul you love perish before your eyes.
A searing pain erupted on his neck as a crimson rune etched itself into his flesh, the mark of the death goddess.
What have I become?
The goddess vanished, leaving Hiroki alone with a fate crueler than death. And so began his 700-year nightmare. The first years were a blur of grief. Hiroki wandered aimlessly, watching the world change around him while he remained frozen.
Everyone I ever cared for is dead. What's the point of existing like this?
Decades passed. He withdrew from the world, a ghost haunting the edges of civilization. But after 50 years of despair, a single thought ignited within him.
If I am forced to live forever, then I'll use every second to become so powerful that nothing can ever cause me pain again.
He began with his body, martial arts drilled under waterfalls and on mountain peaks, until his bones could shatter steel.
Again, push harder.
Then the arcane arts. He devoured forbidden tomes and bent the elements to his will. He forged weapons of legend, each strike of the hammer a meditation, and so the decades bled into centuries, each day a step toward a strength beyond God's. The curse remained, but it no longer defined him. 700 years. He trained through the fall of empires, the rise of new gods, and the silence of forgotten ages. His worn coat stitched with memories, each patch a relic from battles that shaped his legend. The world no longer touched him. He walked its streets as a ghost, unchallenged and unbearably bored. The crimson rune on his neck pulsed faintly, the only thing that still felt personal, until a silver-haired hunter stepped into his path, recognition burning in her eyes.
You are Hiroki, the immortal hunter from my family's oldest legend.
A descendant of those I failed to protect. Why now?
I need your strength. A monster is destroying our lands, and the guilds are powerless.
And so, after 7 centuries of solitude, the curse-bound hunter found himself pulled back into the fray. The question was no longer whether he could die, but whether he would choose to live again. They traveled west, Hikari detailing the beast, a creature of shadow and flame that butchered entire towns without warning.
It moves only at night, and wherever it walks, the dead rise to serve it.
Undead? That requires powerful necromancy, not just animal kind.
On the 3rd day, a lesser demon burst from the underbrush, claws aimed at Hikari's throat. Hiroki didn't even draw his sword. A single flick of his finger sent the creature crashing into a boulder.
You didn't even move. What are you?
But Hiroki's focus had shifted to a faint crimson pulse on the horizon, the same shade as his curse mark.
That energy, it's divine, but corrupted. Not the goddess herself.
The glow led them to a burning village, the stench of death thick in the air. And above the flames, an oppressive aura hung. Death magic twisted by something far older. The burning village was only a prelude. Ahead, the town of Oakhaven was under full siege, undead swarming the gates. Hiroki strode into the chaos, his sword still sheathed. With a sweep of his hand, A dozen skeletons crumbled to dust.
How can you do this? Just wave your hand.
7 centuries of practice. A curse gave me the time. The rest was just effort.
At the town center, a towering figure, cloaked in shifting shadows, directed the assault, a divine minion of the death goddess.
That energy, it's from her. But why send a servant now? You, servant of death. Why are you attacking these mortals? The goddess sent me to test you, cursed one. She wonders if you've grown weak in your solitude.
Hiroki's response was not words. He vanished, reappearing with his ancient blade buried in the minion's chest. The minion dissolved into shadow, but not before a cold whisper reached Hiroki's ears. She watches. The curse mark burned.
That minion, it knew something. I can still feel her energy lingering.
A trail of black mist led them to the town's outskirts, where a swirling portal split the air. From within stepped a knight of shadow, its eyes burning crimson, a direct servant of the death goddess.
You. What more does she want? Speak before I end you.
The knight laughed, a hollow sound. She did not curse you from anger. She has loved you for 7 centuries.
Lies. The goddess of death doesn't love. She tormented me, took everything.
Hiroki, is that possible? Could the curse have been something else?
The knight crumbled into ash as Hiroki's blade cleaved him, but his final whisper echoed. Ask her yourself. The portal collapsed, leaving Hiroki staring at his trembling hands, the curse mark pulsing, as if answering.
Whatever the truth is, we can't ignore it. You need answers.
That night, Hiroki's dreams were not of battles, but of faces long dead. He saw her again, his wife, centuries ago. She faded in his arms, the same curse that kept him alive, stealing her breath. He had been powerless.
Number, not again. Please.
Hikari shook him awake. His curse mark throbbed, sweat drenching his coat.
Hiroki, you were screaming. What did you see?
Everyone. Everyone I ever loved. They all died because of me.
Not because of you. Because of the curse. You carry too much alone.
For 700 years I buried them. Now this goddess claims to love me. I don't know what to feel.
For a long moment, they sat in silence, the weight of centuries hanging between them. Then Hikari placed a hand on his shoulder, and for the first time in decades, Hiroki did not pull away. At dawn, Hikari spoke the words Hiroki had been avoiding. We need to find her realm.
Fine. But if she tries anything, I'll end this curse one way or another.
The same crimson energy from before coalesced into a gate, cold and silent.
After you, immortal.
They stepped into a twilight hall of bones and shadow, and there she sat, the death goddess, more sorrowful than he remembered.
I have waited 7 centuries for you to come to me.
You cursed me, destroyed my life.
I saw your soul that day, fierce and pure. I loved you, but a mortal cannot survive a god's world. I gave you time to grow strong enough.
You did this out of love. All that pain.
You are not the only one I have bound, but you are the only one who returned.
Others, you've done this to more?
In the hall's shadows, dozens of dim spirits stood imprisoned, each cursed with immortality, each bound by the goddess's sorrow.
How many lives have you stolen for your selfish affection?
I only wanted to preserve what I loved. Death is my nature, but loneliness is my eternity.
You don't love, you collect. You hoard souls like trinkets.
You are different. You grew strong. These others, they simply waited for me. But I can free them if you ask.
She'll only do it if I give something in return. Free them all. Now, then we'll talk.
I cannot simply release them without a promise. Stay with me. Be my consort, and I will grant you this.
You barter with souls? I expected nothing less.
Hiroki did not flinch. The air grew heavy as the two locked gazes, mortal and deity, both unwilling to yield.
I am not one of your prisoners. You cannot chain me with empty promises.
I am not offering chains. I offer you eternity at my side.
With a flick of his wrist, Hiroki summoned a blade of pure will, a testament to 700 years of defiance.
Such power. Even among gods, this is rare.
He forged himself through your curse. You have no right to claim him now.
The goddess's composure cracked. For the first time, tears welled in her galaxy eyes.
Release the others. Only then will I consider your words.
The goddess's voice trembled. She raised a hand, but it faltered. The fate of countless souls hung in silence.
Very well. I will free them all. But I cannot be alone. Come to me, not as a prisoner, but as a companion. Only occasionally.
Occasionally? You want me to visit you like a suitor.
Hiroki, think of all the lives you could free. Your 700 years of pain could finally mean something.
But to be bound to her, after everything she took.
I only ask for a few moments of your eternity. Please, I cannot undo the past, but I can give a future to those I've wronged.
He looked past the goddess to the silent phantoms who had suffered longer than even him.
You once told me you'd use every second to become strong. This is your chance to prove that strength isn't just for yourself.
Can I really do this? Trade my freedom for theirs? If I agree, you will lift the curse completely. Not just for them, but for me.
I swear on the threads of death, you will be free, and they will be free.
I accept, but on my terms. I will not be bound by divine commands. I will live in the mortal world and visit only when I choose.
Yes, whatever you ask, you will never be a prisoner here.
The goddess raised her hand. Chains dissolved, and the trapped spirits rose like stars, their curses breaking.
So many, finally free.
You did it, Hiroki. You gave them back their lives.
And on his neck, the crimson rune that had burned for 7 centuries began to fade.
The weight, it's gone.
They turned toward the portal, the goddess watching with a mix of hope and sorrow. Hiroki did not look back. The doorway of light closed behind them. Outside, the sun was rising over the mortal world. A new day, and a new burden. Months later, an abandoned fortress on the eastern cliffs began to stir with life.
This will be a place where hunters learn more than just survival. They'll learn the arts I mastered over 700 years.
And I'll be your first student. Show me everything.
And so, the Academy of the Eternal Hunt was founded. Hikari trained harder than anyone, her bowstring singing under his tutelage.
She has the same fire her ancestor did. It feels right to teach.
In the realm of death, a goddess watched through a shimmering mirror, a faint smile on her lips.
He is keeping his promise, in his own way.
The Academy attracted students from across the land, each hungry for the knowledge of the immortal hunter.
Every technique I teach, every strategy, is a piece of my pain turned into someone else's shield.
Yet, deep within, Hiroki knew that his new peace came with a price. One the world might one day ask him to pay. Months turned into years, and the Academy's name spread like wildfire. Hunters who trained under Hiroki became legends themselves.
Even the goddess visits feel less like a burden now. A strange peace.
I am leading my own team now. Your teachings kept us alive against a worm.
But one day, the sky darkened unnaturally. A divine thunder shook the Academy walls.
I am Ignis, god of battle. A mortal dares train others to challenge the heavens.
Hiroki stepped outside, his students behind him. The god's fiery eyes bore into his, now naturally.
I train hunters to protect the world, not challenge gods. But if you threaten them, I will not hold back.
Then prove your worth, immortal. Face me in combat, or I will raze your academy to the ground.
Hiroki, you don't have to do this alone.
But Hiroki had already drawn his ancient blade, facing a god with nothing but 700 years of will. Ignis lunged, his spear tearing the air. Hiroki sidestepped, a movement perfected over centuries.
You gods rely on raw power. I've had 700 years to refine what you waste.
He flicked his wrist. A spell from a lost dynasty exploded against the god's shield, forcing Ignis back.
His divine barrier is dense, but not impenetrable. Every strike has a rhythm.
Pathetic. A mortal's tricks cannot harm a god.
Hiroki closed the distance, his body a blur of martial forms. A palm strike to the divine chest caused the god to gasp.
You feel that? That's 700 years of repeating a single strike until it could shatter mountains.
Ignis retaliated with a storm of divine fire, but Hiroki conjured a shield of woven spells, the flames parting around him. The god's arrogance crumbled, replaced by something it had not felt in millennia. Uncertainty, but the battle was far from over. Ignis rose, burning with new fury, and the heavens trembled again. Hiroki met the renewed assault with a technique forged in solitude, 1,000 palm strikes layered into one. The god's divine armor shattered.
This is the culmination of 700 years of patience. Now fall.
Ignis crashed to the earth, his divine fire extinguished. He struggled to rise, but his strength was spent.
Enough. I concede. You have proven that a mortal can stand as an equal to gods.
Word of the battle rippled through the divine realm. The hunter cursed to never die had become unkillable by his own will.
He actually did it. Hiroki defeated a god.
The Academy of the Eternal Hunt became a sacred ground, its master revered by mortals and gods alike.
None of this erases the past, but maybe it can protect the future.
Hikari took her place as the Academy's next generation leader, while Hiroki occasionally visited the goddess's realm, a bond of mutual respect now. Yet, deep within, Hiroki knew that one thread remained unfinished, the grief he had carried for 7 centuries. In a rare, quiet night, Hiroki sat alone, his mind drifting through the centuries. He remembered the waterfall training, muscles screaming, but he pushed on, the arcane tomes that took decades to master. Their secrets finally his, the forge where he hammered legends, the heat a comfort against his loneliness.
All that pain, it wasn't pointless. It was the fire that melted the ore.
Every scar on his body was a lesson carved by time. The blizzard wrestling, the desert endurance, the endless repetition.
The curse gave me time. Without it, I'd have died a B-rank hunter, forgotten.
For the first time in 7 centuries, Hiroki released his hatred for the death goddess. He understood now. The woman who cursed him was also the one who set him on the path to become unkillable. Years passed, and the Academy of the Eternal Hunt carved its name into history. Its graduates became legends.
Remember to lead with your spirit, not just your weapon. That's what Master Hiroki taught me.
Hiroki watched from the balcony, a rare smile touching his lips. The children were no longer helpless before monsters. That evening, he stepped through a crimson portal into the goddess's realm.
You visit more frequently now. Dare I hope you find comfort here.
It's no longer a punishment. Your world, it has its own kind of peace.
They spoke of art and history, the goddess sharing tales of lost civilizations. Back on Earth, Hikari had become a leader in her own right, her silver hair now a symbol of hope. The mortal and divine worlds existed in balance, a covenant sealed by one man's impossible choice. Yet, when Hiroki glanced toward the ancient graves east of the cliff, his expression grew thoughtful. That chapter remained unvisited. Next morning, Hiroki walked the training grounds, his coat trailing. The clash of wooden swords filled the air. He paused near a young boy struggling with a basic stance, frustration clear on his face.
That's exactly how I looked 7 centuries ago, angry and desperate.
He knelt and gently adjusted the boy's grip, his ancient hands steady.
Don't fight the blade. Listen to its weight. It will teach you patience.
The boy's eyes widened with sudden understanding. He nodded and resumed, his posture stronger.
If my suffering can become a foundation for even one child's future, it was not in vain.
He watched the academy, his pain reborn as hope. The curse had become a strange gift. The graves could wait a little longer. His duty here was not yet done. For now, he was exactly where he needed to be. Finally, Hiroki walked the eastern path alone, toward the weathered stones that held his oldest pain. He knelt before the mossy grave and placed a bouquet of wildflowers, a simple offering 700 years late.
I'm sorry it took so long. I was afraid to face what I lost.
The wind stirred, but he remained still, letting the silence be his confession.
I thought I'd find you here. They would be proud. Not because you became strong, but because you never stopped caring.
I used to think staying alive was my punishment. Now I see it was a chance to make their loss mean something.
They stayed until the sun dipped low, painting the sky in gold and rose.
Come on. The students will wonder where their master went.
Hand in hand, they walked back toward the light, leaving the graves to the quiet dusk. The next dawn, Hiroki stood alone on the eastern cliff, watching the sun rise over a world he'd helped shape.
I was cursed to never die. For the first time, I am truly alive.
In her realm, the death goddess watched through her mirror. A single tear traced her cheek, not of sorrow, but of joy.
He is free, and yet he still comes to me.
The curse that had bound him for 7 centuries was no longer a chain, but a bridge between 2 worlds. He trained for 700 years to become unkillable, but the true victory was choosing to live. Below, the academy stirred. His students, his legacy, the future he had forged from his own pain. And far beyond, the goddess waited, not in solitude, but in patient hope. He was cursed to never die, but he chose to truly live, and that made all the difference.